Good morning, everyone. My name is Prashant. I'm studying in BTech 4th semester CSCC. My roll number is 22951A05F9. My topic is the IBM Personal Computer, a software driven market. Abstract. It's common for new technology to be so impressive that it both establishes a market and becomes a standard in the market. More typically, a latecomer may set the standard in terms of market acceptance, even if the new technology is not superior. In the consumer video recording era, for example, VHS became the standard, displacing the better technology many people consider superior. Then there's personal computing. Introduced in August 1981, the IBM system wasn't the first personal computer. Nor it was the most advanced. But shortly after its launch in 1981, the IBM PC became the leading platform in the revolution that brought computing out of the glass house and into daily life. Instead of designing the fastest or most powerful computing platform based on new technology, the standard bearer, IBM, chose the fastest path to market, creating its product from already available parts and signing up with a community of independent software vendors to provide the OS tools and library of applications. The PC frontier. IBM was already under pressure to deliver a product in a year, and that wasn't something likely to be achieved in a lab in a huge company like IBM. Less than 5 years before the introduction of the IBM PC, the microcomputer, the term personal computer hadn't yet emerged, was something that required either a kit or special skills and a training to assemble. Brand names like Altair and Heath were uncommon on hobbyist gift lists, but desktop computers available from companies like Cromenco or Commodore were uncommon in business. It wasn't IBM that dramatically opened this new frontier, but Apple Computer. Starting in mid 1978, the Apple II computer was often equipped with VisiCalc, a revolutionary business spreadsheet product available from Personal Software. VisiCalc changed the way financial analysts operated. Instead of working with pencil and paper to develop our annual budgets, we would ask the financial departments to use the Apple II and this new type of automated spreadsheet to help our calculations. But the process was still easier than pre-Apple. I hadn't read anything about Apple or VisiCalc at Computer World. Perhaps largely because the machines were so low in price that they were below the threshold for capital expenses and weren't visible to either finance or data processing executives. These desktop computers could only be acquired by individuals whose budget were reviewed at their own departmental level outside the scrutiny of data processing departments. Somehow, our finance department knew about this terrific new tool and acquired an Apple II for its own use. The as yet unnamed PC market has really been born. It doesn't matter whether IBM coveted a piece of Apple's pie or simply recognized that the market could be significant for business computing based on microcomputer platform. These machines were powered by a processor so small that the iconic ex-IBMer, Herbert R.J. Grosh, was referred to as a bump on a wire, surveying the marketplace. By 1980, Apple II and VisiCalc had become hot items, and the market was taking off. It became apparent to IBM that the dominant force in mainframe computing could only become the IBM of this market if it launched its product within a ridiculously short time frame. Around mid 1980, the IBM gave William P. Lowe, systems manager, 1 year to accomplish the task. That time frame wasn't imposed from out of the blue but actually suggested by Lowe himself. Mike Rutsky was a consultant under contract to IBM. His small consulting company's assignment was to do preliminary market research and possible demand for small computer. Grad had been an IBMer and in fact was on the team that helped implement IBM's 1969 unbundling of hardware and software pricing. Grad and Mike actually conducted two of what could best be called covert projects for IBM. Commissioned in 1979 to explore the receptiveness of CIOs, customers, and third-party ISV community to a new player in the microcomputer market, they were forbidden to disclose who their client was. The software product was the real revolution in the sense that a really inexpensive program could allow you to do business process the same way you thought about them, the way you told a secretary or assistant to do some analysis for you, he explained. In the mainframe market, customers purchased computing power as if it were a utility. But people bought Apple computers so they could access to the software. It became a software-driven market. This hasn't changed. The people in IBM felt they had a leg up on recognizing and reaching the market as the company was already selling office equipment to big and medium-sized companies, typewriters, dictating machines, and of course computers. It was thought that the corporate presence would equip IBM sales force to make bulk sales. The numbers regarding the potential market demand were all underestimated. CIOs were asked if they would buy a small computer with business software. There would have been a different response if we had asked the question within the context of the provider being IBM. The company from which people purchased typewriters, dictating machines, punch card equipment, and other business equipment. The interviews seemed interested, but there were reservations. For these machines to be viable in a corporate environment, the prospective buyers would need to purchase them in quantities that would drive the machine to become a standard, and that meant in thousands. To make purchases of that magnitude, the buyer would need confidence that the vendor had a long life expectancy, some longevity, and a current track record. Since the survey didn't identify IBM, the responses they had were very conservative bias, Uretsky indicated. That is, in pulling together reasonable numbers on sales predictions, even if the estimates were scaled back, there was still skepticism about any ability to predict strong sales of that many boxes. From very early on, all of IBM's hardware and system software, specifically for the smaller company market, was all based on proprietary technology. The OS was proprietary, the applications were developed by IBM, everything. IBM felt that its smaller machine offerings needed to include application software because the customers wanted to buy solutions from their problems and had little programming knowledge, and they had no interest in acquiring it, Brad noted. The covert study team wasn't looking at Apple II as a competition, Grad was. Largely because of the company's technical limitations, we are looking at using independent software packages like Peachtree or Great Plains for accounting. Venture capitalist Ben Ronson has been pushing Apple because of the availability of Physical, which had indeed established that microcomputer as a business machine. Grad and Uretsky pointed out that this was a new market, not just for IBM but also for technology in general, both for individual users and business analysts. They advised IBM not to go proprietary with its systems and application software because we knew that in order to succeed, IBM would need a lot of third-party writing software for the new system. Called plain and simple, to be non-proprietary, IBM couldn't control the OS. Choosing the OS. By running a standard platform, IBM wouldn't have to fight the battle of convincing third-party application writers to convert to some proprietary IBM system. The 1979 study concluded that essential elements must include a commonly available operating system, preferably already standard, and that the company would need third parties in that small system market. We recommended that IBM rely heavily on these third parties and not to build all of their software themselves, Grad said. IBM agreed that it didn't want a proprietary OS. The only way to accomplish this was to allow the operating system vendor to put it in onto any platform they wanted, Grad noted. No matter who IBM selected, if it was going to be non-proprietary, it had to be everywhere. That was hearsay to some extent, Grad added. But IBM agreed with this recommendation and sought to find an independent OS. So which OS? The choice was clear. It should be CB/M, the established standard for digital researching, previously known by the rather pretentious name Intergalactic Digital Research. So, how did IBM end up with Microsoft? There are several versions of how the IBM OS came to be the new DOS instead of already established CB/M. IBM would receive much criticism for its businesses did not make their proprietary and let Microsoft have MS-DOS to other microcomputer manufacturers, Grad reflected. One way or the other, DRS reticence or unavailability or whatever the motivation not to do business with them brought the IBM software team, headed by Jack Sams, back to Microsoft. The folklore includes at least 3 different stories of why Microsoft didn't get the deal, chronicled in various forms, including Robert X's colorful accidental empires, how the boys of Silicon Valley make their millions, battle for foreign competition, and still can't get it. In Kringley's versions, here Gary Kindle was flying his plane that didn't or wouldn't come to the meeting. In other versions, lawyers didn't want Kindle to sign a non-disclosure agreement with the company, or the personality steered them away from doing business with IBM. From a historical viewpoint of assessing the impact of third party parts, the correct version of the story doesn't matter very much. The key decision was to go to an independent OS provider rather than which ISP would provide it. The fact that the IBM was ready to make a deal, they had already signed up with Microsoft for the basic language and they were already ready to make same sort of agreement with GRI for CP by M on the new machine. Microsoft just been founded in 1975 and didn't actually incorporate until June 1981, less than 2 months before the PC was introduced. Perhaps formally incorporating was a requirement to IBM to continue doing business with these young developers and entrepreneurs. Once they made the decision, IBM could go to the ISU community and make the promise of offering a non-proprietary platform mitigating any concerns that IBM did not have a customary market success with microcomputers that it had in mainframes. That is, that it might not actually become the IBM of personal computing world, as the IBM PC developed a larger ISU following in the early 1980s, overcoming the technical differentiations and limited memory of initial hardware product became more important. DOS limitations. Because the IBM PC became an industry standard, it shaped the experience of users of its far more powerful machines for decades to come. Overcoming its initial limitations was difficult. Instead, new additions had to be built on top of and around the PC's original architecture. Haig pointed out that the original extended memory standard was developed by 3 companies and nicknamed LIM: Lotus, Intel, Microsoft. So Lotus could have a decent sized spreadsheet. IBM eventually acquired Lotus in 1995. From a computer science standpoint, DOS was a terrible OS, said Haig, adding that it was successful because of its backward compatibility. DOS was originally supposed to be a PC-like, but not totally compatible at BIOS level, he recalled. In 1992, 32-bit Pentium-based personal computers running with 2.11 hundreds of times more powerful than the original PC, but were still limited by its original hardware design. Haig noted that the design was far more uglier than a clean alternative would have been. But the machines are evolved to maximize the backward compatibility with the original PC running DOS underneath Windows and relying on a creaky system of segmented memory management. PC media frenzy. A media frenzy ensued after introduction of IBM 5150, which quickly became known by its more familiar name, the IBM personal computer. The market took on consumer personas, spurred by the fact that IBM established its own retail stores and teamed up with both CS and Computerland chain. Suddenly, IBM PCs were everywhere. New PC-related publications seemed to debut every week in 1 year in the mid-1980s, and in fact, 55 new publications came onto Zin. The next 55 publications ceased operation. Some of them were the same ones that had previously premiered last year. Magazines like Byte and Creative Computing played an important role exchanging information and even printing programming listings and circuit diagrams. This practice becomes so common that a company was coined for announced but incomplete software, vaporware. In one famous example, a publication declared the multifunction production ovation to be the product of the year, yet it never shipped. Early software effects. About the only proprietary technology in the PC was the BIOS. IBM did this for self-protection, according to Grad. Clones would be sure to found just as competitive like compatible manufacturers did the mainframe era. The BIOS is central to the performance. And keeping a proprietary slowed the clone's ability to bring the product to the market. Eventually, the dependence broke through the BIOS that emulated the IBM PC through reverse engineering, which opened the market to even more manufacturers and further sweetened the market prospectus for ISVs. The BIOS had the IBM hallmark or something proprietary to lock it in. It was still a hardware company then, and it was going to make the money off machines. They thought that the more they sold, the more they would make, and the more they sold, the bigger the market opportunity for software companies. As a lead into this willingness to work with ISO, IBM had already started quoting the mainframe software vendors. As Gray stated, the tech business decisions were interwoven and were independent of hardware decisions. Had IBM created its own unique OS, the story would have been far different. The IBM shaped the industry. It wouldn't have done so without the open OS. An educated assessment of that what would have happened can be made by looking at the mini computer world. Pre-Linux has a standard operating system that were a lot of focused successes such as Data Center, Data General, HP, DEC, and more. All are proprietary, and none experience the kind of growth of PC later ensued. I believe that the PC market would have grown much more slowly with a closed operating system, said Grad. IBM's open approach replaced Apple's model, a single platform controlled by one vendor. DOS was the same type of elementary OS as CP by M. Although CP by M still required a porting effort to bring applications to different versions, the IBM PC world would be unlike the CP/M world. Proprietariness was the path not taken, as Robert Frost said. That has made all the difference. Thank you.